Today, we're going to dive into a massive shift in how influence and authority are built. We're talking about something called predictive influence, and it's a whole new game where AI and data are completely rewriting the rules for media, for PR, for just about everyone.
You've probably felt this, right? You see a story just explode out of nowhere, a trend goes viral, and suddenly a few key voices are everywhere. They're the ones being quoted, the ones being interviewed, and you're sitting there thinking, hey, I had that insight, I had that expertise, but you showed up after the conversation already picked its winners. Was it just dumb luck? Or is there something else going on?
For decades, the playbook in this space has been all about reacting. You wait for the news to happen, you chase the trend, and you jump into a super crowded fight for attention. But you know what? That model is failing. It's broken. The new playbook flips this whole thing on its head. It's about being proactive. It's about seeing stories early, building real authority, and getting there before the news even breaks. So why is this change so incredibly critical right now? Well, first, let's break down the real, actual cost of showing up late to the party. This right here, this is the invisible loss that most brands never ever measure. By the time a story is trending on Twitter or making headlines, that golden window of opportunity to be a core, foundational voice, it's gone. You're not shaping the narrative anymore. You're just another voice reacting to it. And the consequences just stack up, one after another. By the time a story is big, the algorithms, Google, social media, you name it, they've already picked their winners. Journalists, they've already found their go-to experts. The story already has a shape. And your voice, even if it's brilliant, just feels like extra noise, not the essential piece of the puzzle. This is exactly what makes being late so expensive and what makes being early so incredibly valuable.
Okay, so if being late is the problem, how in the world do you get there early? Well, the secret is hiding in this very small, almost invisible window of opportunity. It's the moment before the moment.
We call this the silent window. You know, what we see as something going viral is really just the loud, explosive conclusion to a very long, very quiet buildup of tiny signals. Before all the headlines, before the social media storm, there are whispers. Most of us completely miss them, but AI, well, AI is designed to hear them. So a story's life really begins here, in what we call the whisper phase. This is where you see these little odd search spikes or subtle changes in how people are talking online. Then you get to the research phase. This is when journalists start sniffing around, clustering topics together, and exploring angles. By the time we get to the surge, the big wave of mainstream coverage, the most valuable moment is long gone. Predictive influence is all about operating in that first phase.
And this really brings us to a crucial point. Real, lasting authority isn't built when a story is popular and everyone agrees it's a big deal. Nope, it's built in that quiet, uncertain phase, when you're one of the very few voices providing clarity before anyone else is even paying attention. But how does AI actually do this? How does it see these stories before we do? It really comes down to spotting the kinds of patterns that our human brains are just not wired to catch.
Okay, so here's the fundamental difference. As people, we tend to look for certainty. We want validation. We wait for a story to feel big or safe before we jump in. AI doesn't need any of that. It's looking for patterns, and this is the important part. It's looking for acceleration. It can see the direction a story is heading way before the destination is obvious to anyone else. And this isn't guesswork, it's pure data. AI is tracking really specific signals. It can see weird spikes in niche search terms. It notices when groups of journalists all start researching similar things. It can even measure the changing speed, the velocity of conversations online. It's basically seeing the architectural blueprint of a story before the building is even constructed. Now, this isn't just about getting a scoop on a news story. The implications here are so much bigger and way more permanent. This whole new approach is really about training the memory of the internet itself. This is one of those uncomfortable but absolutely essential truths of the world we live in now. Your audience isn't just human anymore. It's also Google. It's Siri and Alexa. It's the recommendation algorithms on YouTube and TikTok and everywhere else. Every piece of content you put out there is actively training these systems on who the real authority is. And here's exactly how that training process plays out. When your company or your name shows up early with media coverage on a new emerging topic, the AI systems see that and they index it. They learn, this person is a credible source on this. Then those credibility signals start to compound over time, so that when the topic finally does hit the mainstream, your authority is already baked in. It's locked. So if we put all of this together, it becomes really clear that the main goal has to change. We need to stop asking the old, tired question and start asking the new one. For years, this is all anyone has been chasing. How do we go viral? But if you think about it, it's a totally reactive goal. It's focused on getting a lottery ticket of attention, a totally fleeting, unpredictable moment that you can't build a real strategy around. This is the critical mindset shift. Instead of chasing fleeting attention, the real goal is to proactively spot these emerging narratives and strategically place your expertise right in the middle of them as they grow. You're moving from reaction to preparation, from hoping for luck to creating intention. And that's really the ultimate takeaway here. In a world that is just completely saturated with noise, simply yelling the loudest doesn't cut it anymore. The future belongs to those who can see a story forming in the silence and who can provide clear, authoritative insight before anyone else. The only question is, are you willing to listen for the whisper?